Hello, lads. Good to see you today. We've got a special one. There's leaks out on the Reddit. And then the itemization preview. First things first, I want to cover the leaks. These are spoilers if you don't want to be spoiled at what may potentially come out as a premium cosmetic in the future. Don't keep watching. You can keep listening, but don't keep watching. It's pretty simple. Some of our good lads on the Reddit have found out and leaked out all the Enforcer armor and headpieces that will be coming out for Darktide. This is going to get your Arbities fix in. Please keep in mind, just because the helmet looks like a Space Marine helmet does not mean you are a Space Marine. It does not mean that they are going to add a Space Marine class. Please do not start assuming that that's what's going to happen. They're not going to add a Space Marine. They've said it thousands of times. It's not going to happen. However, this cosmetic pack is absolutely going to come in at 2,900 Aqualas. So please keep in mind, it is going to come in at a premium price. And the skins are going to be busted. And you have to realize that they are going to gouge you every single time to make the new skins, to make it look cool, to give you different enforcers from across the Imperium. They are going to gouge you. Please keep that in mind. Purchase and speak with your wallet. If you don't want to buy it because you don't want to support these practices, don't buy it. If you want to buy it, please just buy one. Don't buy the whole lot. That's it. That's for that. Now, let's talk about itemization. And I'm going to break character because I am very tired. And I've been doing voice work all day. So let's take a nice break. So, there has been a brand new dev blog that came out for itemization rework. This is something that we've been asking for as a community for a very long time, and it is about time we actually get some answers on what they're doing. Now, I did pre-read this, and I do have to say I am pretty pleased with the changes. I am a little worried about the implementation, and them coming up with a stupid, different set of names for something that they don't have to. The names in there are already perfect. Some things just need to stay. So, let's get into it. Enjoy the gameplay footage while I go ahead and read this. Hello again, devoted rejects. It's time to talk about itemization, aka crafting. Thank God. And what players can expect. We've been reading your comments, your posts, your threads, and your topics, over the last 2 years of the fucking game's life. One of the challenges for tracking itemization was to propose a new experience to the players which felt authentic and natural within the actual live system. That is good. I can appreciate that immensely. We did not want to rush this, as it is important to consider all the progress and time put in by current players of the game too. Our goal is to improve player agency. We are putting the focus on giving players a clear path to get weapons and the gameplay that they want. Part of this agency will be achieved by removing the locks on blessings and perks. Thank the God Emperor you're doing that. The rest of the player agency will be achieved through the introduction of 2 major systems for itemization, mastery and expertise, final names pending. Do not change the final names, Fatshark. Do not. Mastery and expertise are 2 words everybody will understand. You have a mastery of the weapon, and you have an expertise in the weapon. The way that they explain it is perfect. I think both of these names are perfectly fine, and I think they need to stay. Do not come up with something stupid. Just leave it. These systems will make the player's journey in the game more rewarding and customizable. I do want to cover something really quick before we move on to mastery. When it comes to player agency, one, Fatshark, you've had a lot of hiccups that Helldivers 2 recently learned as well, with your community managers telling players that the player agency we wanted in the game was wrong, was stupid, calling us pearl clutchers, basically insulting your entire player base to their faces. That takes away from the player agency because it makes the players feel like there is no one listening on the team that's meant to communicate our concerns with you. It also makes us feel like nobody on your team actually listened. It's taken 2 years for you to come up with an itemization change, and now that you're finally there, my biggest worry is it's going to be a little too late. So, keep that in mind. The other way you can improve player agency is by giving your voice actors that you've hired for this game voice lines within the cutscenes, making our characters be in those cutscenes, be important characters within those cutscenes. That is going to improve player agency tremendously because you're going to see the players become more invested in the story than they are now. You have these wonderful voice actors that can record fantastic lines. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. We also know you have a voice dialogue scrambly system that allows you to mix and match dialogue together in certain situations so it all makes sense when the characters are talking to one another. So you can absolutely do this. It is not an issue, and I know for a fact you can do it. But that's how you can get players to feel more agency in the game. That's why I like playing tabletop RPGs like Imperium Maledictum, which is almost a direct one-for-one where you can go and play as a Darktide team. This isn't a sponsorship. This is just me saying these are games that provide you that player agency. Wrath and Glory is another one of them. Fatshark, you can do these things and actually increase player agency and make players want to stick around for your game even longer in the same way that Helldivers 2 does. But you just need to actually put the effort in. That's all. Let's get on to Mastery. Mastery! This is the core progression system that is tied to the weapon type and family itself. As players use a specific weapon, they'll gain more experience. This unlocks new blessings, perks, marks, and a special weapon cosmetic along the way via the reward tracks. As players progress, the potential quality and stats of the weapon also increase. You know what I would also like to see? Is once you've hit a mastery with a weapon type, it also comes with a character skin for the clothing as well. So not just a weapon skin, but a armor skin as well. I know it's a lot more work for Fatshark to do, but that would also be cool. So it gives you that theme of like these different types of characters throughout the Imperium. I think you could do it really well, and you could do it with more reject style apparel. And I'd like to see more of that too. This system will merge all weapon types families, meaning players will be able to freely switch between different marks of the same weapon. For example, once you own an infantry las, you have the potential to unlock all possible marks for this weapon and switch from one mark to another. Okay, I like that idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Being able to just kind of swap the frame without having to have an extra weapon. I know I've shown my inventory and I've got multiple different types of the same weapon in there right now. And it's a good thing to have as a change. That way we don't have to carry so much and we can just say, I want to run Mark 12 or I want to run the 1AX. I forget the other ones. I only run the Mark 12, I'll be honest. I'd be able to run the different marks of the recon las, infantry rifles. I like this idea. This is a good idea. When viewing any weapon, it will show the weapon's maximum potential stats. These stats will be randomly determined. It's up to the players to decide if the weapon profile is interesting enough for them to commit and increase the stats until reaching its potential, which are then applied to the weapon through the expertise system. Okay. Into the expertise. Work in progress, not representative of final quality. To be fair, what I would like to see with this, because weapon crafting is related to Hadron, make this more tech priesty. Put more mechanicus flair into this. Really lean hard into the mechanicus flair for this display screen. That's what you need here. Here, mix it with Brunt and Mechanicus. But coming into this, give me more of the, see, Hadron's right there. Tech Sugar Mama Hadron is hanging out right there. This is what we want. This is how you keep the player immersed into the game. This takes you out. Make this more tech priesty. Make it more Mechanicus-y. Get rid of this shit. Just make it a Mechanicus thing. That would look worlds better instead of this stupid
brass or copper plaque on a wall with green LEDs. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make this mechanicus display. Expertise. While mastery system is where the player unlocks a potential for a weapon, the expertise system is where the players apply those changes via crafting. This is where the players create an actual relationship with the weapon. Players will be able to configure the weapon, change the blessings or perks, and increase the stats. Beautiful. Players will no longer be locked after making 2 changes on perks or blessings. I'll get to that in a second. This is also when the player uses resources to make these changes happen. I understand they said, please hear me out on this. I understand they said no more locked after 2 changes. That doesn't mean, Fatshark, you increase the lock to 4 or to 6. It just needs to stay unlimited. This right here worries me. Whatever this screen is, whatever this icon is, this 77 out of 100, that had better not be you can only have 77 out of 100 changes to it. Modifications cap. You know what? There it is. Yeah, now that I'm looking at the image completely. This is still a cap. Just because it's not 2 changes, it's 100. I understand for balancing, it's probably balanced out to that. It's still a cap, and I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of players that are still upset that there's a cap. I am nervous that this 98 out of 100 modifications cap is going to like double, quadruple fill based on the upgrades. So like they're treating it like a D&D system, right? Where you point buy in and you get to X amount of points. Oh, then you're going to put 4 points in. To where you're not really going to have a large cap. Where this 98 out of 100, that's not real, right? Maybe it's like 25 that you can get because they increase the amount of modifications that it takes to upgrade it. When you want to get from 75 to 85, it goes up higher and higher, and you have to really choose, and you don't get that full 100. That is my worry. If that's not the case, and it's 1 modification per upgrade per percent, okay, sure, fine. I can handle that. I can be okay with that. I don't like seeing that there's still a cap here. That is worrying. I can see people still getting pissed off at you, Fatshark. What about the resources? While we were planning on this itemization rework, there were a lot of discussion around this topic. Creating an entirely new resource, stupid, is a bit easier for balancing, stupid. But we don't want to start a new grind for players. Thank you. We wanted to have a system which respects players' time, thank fucking God. As such, we decided to keep the plasteel and diamantine steel as the resources for changing weapons, but we worked on balancing. Oh, great! We wanted to give new life to diamantine, as diamantine is a resource introduced at higher level of gameplay. It is also required resource for achieving higher levels of expertise on a weapon. So let's be clear on this. This work on balancing had better be an increased drop rate of plasteel and diamantine in missions going forward. I really think starting high with a 50% increase would be great. You could probably win with a 25 to 35% increase of all mat resource drops increasing across the maps. I'm just saying, across all difficulties, by the way, not just lower ones, all difficulties. Just do a flat percentage from level 1 all the way up to Auric, I think would be the best way to go. What happens in my existing inventory? When designing itemization, we wanted to commit ensuring fairness for all players, new and old. As such, we're implementing a migration system to convert players' current weapons and blessings into the new system. Here's how it works. The blessing library of the weapon family will be converted into mastery progression. That's a smart idea. This means players will start the new systems with a head start in mastery, giving them the chance to unlock previously owned blessings, as well as the chance to unlock some blessings players never had before the update. Our aim is to preserve players' hard-earned progress and make this shift as smooth as possible. What about curios? Curios will have their locks removed, thank God, will remain unaffected beyond this change. Perfect. We are continuing these optimizations to optimize the system in the coming weeks. Look forward to reading your feedback on the process outlined. We'll collect any questions below so that we can release further communications on the topic. That is the itemization rework. I think it is a pretty good update. I'm happy that they've actually given us some information about it, and I look forward to seeing the proper changes. My only concern is this modifications cap here, and if this also applies to here. It looks like, you know what? I think I answered my own question to the modifications, and I think I hate it even more. Yeah, I think I just realized how much I hate this even more because I realized this might be the dumbest thing possible. But then again, I'm hoping I'm wrong because there are two separate modification sections here. There's characteristics modifications, and then there's perk modifications and blessing modifications. And it worries me that I'm seeing those. Because this could mean that there's either two separate modification caps, which is still stupid, which means you can only modify so much in the blessings, and you can only modify so much in the perks before this locks you out. And then there's the characteristics, which the characteristics I can understand. But again, these are showing as 6s. These are showing as 27s. These are showing as 38s. It worries me. It worries me. This is a concerning piece to hear. Don't do this. Don't do this, Fatshark. This should not be something you're focusing on. Please stop that. Please stop. Don't continue with that. That's my biggest concern. That's it. Is what I'm seeing here. The rest of this is looking okay. But as I said, the making two changes, that's no longer being locked. But again, they're keeping modification caps for some reason. They're still holding on to that for dear life. Like if they let go of modification caps, the game will die. Or their daddy 10 cent will smack them in the teeth for letting players have unbridled fun. I mean, seriously, that's how I'm looking at it. Other than that, my friends, I think this is a good update. I'm looking forward to seeing the clarification on this and seeing what comes forward. All right? Shout out to the patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the channel on Patreon. You too can support the channel on Patreon by heading down in the description below. There's a link there. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member. Thank you to my channel member for supporting. You can also support for free by hitting like, subscribe, bell notification, sharing with those you think might enjoy the content, the breakdown, and the concerns that are around. And, yeah, share it with your friends, man. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Again, this channel's mostly RimWorld story modes and Darktide coverage when there's stuff worth covering about it now. It's the game that I started this channel on, so I'll just keep covering Darktide as worthwhile shit that comes out as talking about. But have a good one, lads. See you in the next one. Peace.